Welcome to Inspiring Inkin, Craft and Chat, Tuesday the 8th of September. I'm Amanda Fowler. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are here, can you say hello or leave me some hearts, and I will check on the iPad to make sure that I'm live where I should be, because that is always a worry. It looks like I am. Hooray! And my mum's here. Hi, Mum. And Maureen's here. And Chris is here. And Chris says she found me. Hooray! Right, I'm just going to alter the height. Ooh, I can't find the thing. There we go. Bit lower now. So how are we today on this fine Tuesday? I've ended up with socks on and a cardigan on, and then the sun's come out, so I'm going to have to get rid of the socks shortly, I think. Let's have a look. Jen's here, Roz is here. Sally's here, Maureen's here. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. So how are we today? How are we? How has your week been? How was your weekend? What did you get up to? And has anybody sent any more cards? Because that's what we're on a mission to do in September, is to send more cards. So Marian's here, Val's here, brilliant. Roz and Sally, thank you so much for your cards. I've got them and they're downstairs. So I will share them with everybody next week. I was so determined to bring the crochet upstairs that I forgot the cards. So I promise I will share them next week. But thank you so much for your lovely notes and the cards that arrived in the post. And Michelle's here. Chris says she's inky. So you've obviously been crafting, Chris. That's really good. It's good to see you too, Jen. So I've had a busy old week, really. I've been doing quite a bit of crochet, but not at the weekend. At the weekend, we went up to my hometown of Nottingham to see Brian's parents. It was their 60th wedding anniversary. Yes, 60. That's diamond wedding, which is pretty cool. So it was really lovely, and the kids, Brenda and Tony, have 3 children. Brian, who is the middle one, he's got an older sister Susan and a younger brother Colin, and between the 3 of them they'd arranged all sorts of different things, including taking Brenda and Tony to the church where they got married. Incidentally, that's actually where Brian and I got married as well, and also a card, an anniversary card from the Queen. So I don't know if you knew that you can do that, but for diamond wedding anniversaries and longer, you can apply to get a card sent from the Queen, which is really cool. So she had that. So that was really, really lovely. And we hang out with his parents, had some lovely cake, you know, the kinds of things that you do. But I didn't get very much crochet done. I didn't get very much reading done either, which was kind of my plan. But yeah, it didn't happen. There was too much chatting going on. I mean, can you believe that from me? Too much chatting? Yeah. Right, peppermint tea is the order of today. Oh, nice and hot. Right, so Val has sent another 7 cards. Roz has been celebrating with her grand-twins. They were 3. And she sent another 12 cards. That's amazing. And Karen's been chasing the hens. But she's here now. Val and Roz are wishing Brian and I a happy anniversary for tomorrow. Yes, we are celebrating our 31st wedding anniversary tomorrow, and we are taking the day off. I'm going to go roaming around the countryside. I think there might be tea and cake involved at some point, which will be lovely. But it's just, I know it's the middle of the week, but we decided that we deserved it. We were going to take the day off. So yeah, so that's really cool. So what have I got to tell you today? In the Stampin' Up world, not a lot really. The promotion is still ongoing, the joining promotion, where you can get 2 extra stamp sets and some rhinestones and some card kits. And that's in addition to picking £130 worth of products for £99, no postage to pay. So very cool deal. If you're interested in that, then do just let me know and I can talk to you about it and answer your questions. I would love you to join. I say this all the time. I don't think I should have any customers at all. I think everybody should join because it's so much fun. And I have the best team, and quite a few of them are hanging out here at the moment. Yeah, we're a really friendly group and we share all our creativity and we learn from one another and we drink tea and eat cake, even virtual cake. No calories in virtual cake. But yeah, it's really cool. And you get a discount on the best products in the world. So, you know, what more can I say? So other than that, in the Stampin' Up world, there's not much more going on. We've obviously got the autumn winter catalogue and the autumn winter catalogue and the annual catalogue. They're both still running. And I know a few of you are beginning to think about Christmas, because as I'm seeing the orders coming in, there are more Christmas stamps and things. So I think for some people, kind of inching into September means that you're actually thinking about your Christmas cards, which is very cool. And the nights are getting shorter or longer again, aren't they? So it's getting dark earlier, like 8:15, I think it was last night. So yeah, but maybe we'll get a bit of a late summer. We get that sometimes, don't we, in September, where it warms up. So I am hoping. So Janet is here. Oh, Chris is cooking paella. I love paella, apart from the fact that I'm allergic to mussels, and many paellas have mussels in them, and yeah, it's not good, not good. So Jan's here. Hi, Jan. You've left a comment, Jackie, so I'm kind of confused as to why you can't see the video. I'm hoping that you're okay now. Janet's saying hello to everyone, and a special hello to me, thanks. The time goes so fast, you can't believe it's Tuesday again. I know. I get up on a Tuesday morning and I think, oh great, it's Tuesday, right, oh, better get sorted out. And like the morning's gone, and I'm at like 1:30 going, quick, eat my sandwich, quick, eat my sandwich, because I can't come and do a live not having had my lunch. That wouldn't be pretty. Yeah, I need regular feeding. It's a really good plan. Okay, so hi Trish, thanks for joining. So I promised I would show you my latest crochet creation, which is a work in progress. So to catch you up, if you haven't been following along with Amanda's crochet journey, I did try and crochet several times over the years and never succeeded. But in January, I took part in a crochet along with Attic 24, and if you Google Attic 24, you'll find the lady whose name escapes me currently, somebody will probably tell us in a second. And I did a blanket, and it's the first thing I'd ever crocheted, and I made a lap blanket. And since then I've made a hat and some coffee cozies. I'm crocheting Christmas presents, so I can't tell you about those. I'm crocheting a cushion and yeah, some other gifts. So I've got several things on the go, but I've just started back to my yoga class. And if you know anything about yoga, you have relaxation time at the end. And it gets chilly in the gym that we use because they've got air conditioning. So I needed a blanket, and yeah, I've probably got a lot of blankets in the house, but I thought, no, I will crochet myself a blanket. And I thought, well, I could extend the blanket I've already made, and then decided, no, that probably wasn't a plan because I really like it, and it was the first thing I'd ever made, so I don't really want to alter it. So I thought, well, I've got all sorts of odds and ends of wool from different subscriptions and kits and that kind of stuff that probably aren't kind of the colours that I would use normally. So you can read into that, they're not blue. So therefore I'm not going to be crocheting with them because we all know how much I love blue. And I thought, well, I'll just make up a blanket pattern. So that's what I've done. So this is it. Now I hope you are ready to see this. So, okay, I don't know how far I'm going to need to go back, probably quite a long way. So there you go. Ta-da! I'm hoping that you can kind of see it in all of its colour glory. Yeah. It's really cool. So, the width of it is enough to go lying down, so to cover me and tuck in, but it's all treble crochet, so it's quite open. And what I'm doing is I'm using two balls of double crochet yarn. So that's how I've got kind of the graduation. So I'm doing 3 rows and 3 rows, and then 2 rows and 2 rows and 2 rows, and then 3 rows and 3 rows, and then 2 and 2 and 2, and so on. And I'm just going to keep going and keep going and keep going until it's done. But it's a bit bonkers, the colours. Yeah, so anyway, it won't matter because when I'm at yoga, it's dark. So nobody's going to see my blanket. Oh dear. So, yeah, Mum's just said, it's Lucy. Yes, Lucy of Attic 24. So, she is awesome, and she's got a blog, and she does these craft-alongs, and you can order her wool kits from the Wool Warehouse. And yeah, just to add to that, if you want any basic crocheting tutorials, look up Bella Coco, and she does loads of crochet tutorials, and she does them right-handed and left-handed as well, so it doesn't matter whether you're right-handed or left-handed. So yeah, so I will keep you posted in the blanket plan. I just hope it doesn't get too warm in the next few weeks, because you cannot crochet a blanket when it's warm, because it lies on your lap and it gets too hot, so that's no good. Oh, so much love for my crazy blanket. Yeah, I just love it. I just love it. And I'm using a really fat crochet hook. It's an 8mm hook. And I know you can ask me what kind of crochet hooks that I use. I've tried all sorts of different ones. My absolute favourites are Clover Amour, A-M-O-U-R, and they've got a soft grip handle, but for me the hook part of it, the metal hook, is really slippery. So it just means that you can crochet really fast. Well, probably somebody who's really good at crochet can crochet really fast. For me, slightly faster than a snail, but I do go quite quick. Yeah, a bit faster than a snail. So yeah. So I will show you. I think it's about 30 inches at the moment. It needs to be 3 times as big as it is. So I'm a third of the way through. So yeah, so there you go. Right, so Sharon's here and Susan's here and Julie's here. Lovely. Julia is, Julie, sorry. That's my glasses looking down. Julie is saying hello to everyone. Linda's here. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for all the love for my blanket. That's awesome. Okay, so, oh, Sharon's been crocheting too. What have you been crocheting, Sharon? She'll tell me in a minute. That's really cool. Ah. So Jackie's fixed it. She's using the laptop. I'm only on holiday tomorrow, Jackie. It's my anniversary tomorrow, so I'm just not working tomorrow. No, and even if I'm on holiday, we were talking about this the other day, and somebody was saying, what are you going to do when you're on holiday for your 2 o'clock on a Tuesday? And I said, well, we can have 2 o'clock on Tuesday on tour, can't we? Or I can do a recorded 2 o'clock on Tuesday. So, yeah. So I will always be here at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday, whichever way round we go. But, yeah, no chance of a holiday anytime soon. I'd like a holiday. I'd like some sun on my bones. But, you know, it's the way of the world, and I get to hang out with you guys, so this is fun. So Anne's arrived. Ooh, Linda is crocheting baby booties. Oh, that's really lovely. And Sharon's crocheting squares and flowers. You see, one of the things with crochet, sewing in the ends drives me mad, because every time you change a colour you have to sew in the ends. But I've learned that you do it like every 2 or 3 rows, so you don't have lots to do at the end. But I keep looking at like little squares and flowers and things and joining them together, and it does seem to be like a lot of sewing. I'm not sure that I want to do that, but then I really like hexagons, so that's kind of on my list. And you don't need to say sorry for being late. It's okay. I know that everyone has other things that they could be doing. And actually lots of people join sort of on the replay as well. So that's fine. Yes, Marion says I can go and visit them. Australia is so on my list. And yeah, I would love that. I would love that, but they're not going to let me in currently, are they? Nobody's, or I can get in, but I can't get out. I think it's kind of, or we can't get back. So yeah, but it's the world we live in, so we have to make the best of it and concentrate on the things that we can control. And crafting is one of those things. So shall we get started with the crafting? As otherwise I'll sit here and talk about crochet for the next hour, which is probably not what you came for, really. So, not yet. Marion says I can't come yet. Right. So, I have got a different table today. So, yeah, the table that I have been using, Kimberly now has. And I've got a 6-foot table, which is huge. So that is just not going to be not going to be the right thing to have. It just takes up way too much space. So when I turn the camera around, I'm not sure exactly which bit of my table is going to be in shot. So bear with me while I kind of change it around. And I've frozen on my iPad screen. That's not good. Hang on. Let's see if I can find me again. Right, okay. Yeah, that's okay. We are back up and running. Right, I'm going to cover you over, turn you around, and then we'll just have to jiggle it about so we can find out where everyone, or where you can see all the things that you need to see. So, da, 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 da. Right. To-do. Oh. Sheridan's here. Hi, Sherry. Da, da, da. Okay, so I'm going to move that out of the way. I've got wires hanging everywhere. Let's see. Hook that up there. See if that is out of shot. Right. There we go. Okay. I think, well, that's not too bad actually. I was worried I was going to have to be stretching out with my arms. Right. Cardigan off. Okay. So what I am going to talk about today is the new water painters and watercolour pencils. And kind of a few other bits and pieces to do that. So, many crafters have watercolour pencils in their stash. And you might have our amazing Stampin' Up! Ones, or you might have some other ones from a different company. What I'm going to show you with the techniques will work with most watercolour pencils. The important thing to note is that it's the same with everything, isn't it? Not all watercolour pencils are equal. So, it depends how much pigment they've got in them, it depends how soft they are. You will know your pencils and what works and what doesn't work. But I'm going to show you a few hints and tips. So, I've brought the catalogue out because there are two different packs of the pencils. So there is the first assortment, which actually live in this tin, which is quite a big range of colours, and these are actually designed in the Stampin' Up! Colours, so they're designed to coordinate. So there are 13 pencils in that set, and then this assortment too has got another 10, and they're different colours. Okay, so you're not going to duplicate if you get both. The water painters are brand new, and you get 3 and they're $11.25. So I'm going to show you these, and there's a few things for you to know. So okay, so the first thing is that you get 3, and they're really quite big. They have a water reservoir in the base. The important thing that you need to know is these unscrew the wrong way. And what do I mean by that? Well, normally you turn things right to tighten them up and left to loosen them. I learnt this. I'm married to an engineer, And what he says is righty tighty, lefty loosey. So you tighten it up, turning it to the right, you undo it, turning it to the left. These are backwards, and I don't know why. I need to ask Stampin' Up actually. So to unscrew them, you turn them to the right. So actually, I've got some international friends here. Is that an international standard? You turn things right or clockwise to tighten and anti-clockwise to undo? I don't know. Anyway, so you turn them the wrong way. In my world, you turn them the wrong way. And that's how you fill them. Okay. So again, I'm trying to tighten it now, look. Automatically turning it to the right, but you don't. You turn it to the left. Okay. And then there are 3 different tips. So we've got a really, really broad brush, a fatter brush, but it's still got a really fine point on it, and then a really skinny brush. And you're going to use them in the same way that you would to do a standard paintbrush. Obviously this broader one is for covering big areas, and then smaller areas, and then finer detail. Okay, so I'm just going to pop them in. Just be careful with these. I'm sort of squashing the fibres together as you put the lid on. What you don't want to do is catch the edge of it and bend them back, so keep them together. Pop that in there. So quite a few, yeah. Jackie and Claire are both saying righty tighty, yeah. So there you go. So that's those. Now, if you are watercolouring, I recommend that you use StazOn. This is a permanent ink. It's solvent based and it smells like marzipan. It's delicious, but it does say on the back, and I'm going to say this again, it does say do not inhale. It says that on the thing. So don't inhale it. If you happen to sniff it, you'll know that it smells like marzipan. It is yummy. Yummy, yummy. So StazOn, and if you're using StazOn, then StazOn works with the red rubber stamps. So I'm using this stamp set, which is called Beautiful Moments, and I'm going to talk to you about the paper that I'm going to be using. So I've got 2 different types of paper that I'm going to be using with watercolouring. Now, the first thing for you to know is don't put water on Whisper White cardstock or Very Vanilla cardstock. It does not like it. Both of those cardstocks are coated, which means there's like a special finish on them, and if you put water on them, they'll pill and bubble up. Really nasty, doesn't work at all. The cardstock is specifically designed for stamping on, so it's not designed for you to put water on it. These 2 cardstocks are perfect for watercolouring. So the first one is this one, which is called Fluid 100 watercolour paper. It's 100% cotton, and it's a really lovely watercolour paper. It's got some texture to it. I'll just lift it up a bit, see if you can see. It's got a little bit of texture to it, but it's fairly smooth, and you can put lots and lots of water on this perfectly happily. Okay, then this is what I use most. So this is shimmery white cardstock, and it says it's called Shimmery White, and I'm really hoping that the camera's going to pick up that sparkle. It says Shimmery White, but it's more like vanilla. Let me show you. I've got a piece of white here. So this is Whisper White cardstock, and you can see that if you put it next to it, this looks more vanilla. It's got more of a cream tone to it, but it's not as vanilla as vanilla. It's kind of somewhere in the middle. So actually, when you're doing your insert and things for the inside, sometimes you use white, sometimes you use vanilla. I don't think it matters too much. Okay, so if you're using water, stays on, watercolour paper or shimmery white, not very vanilla or Whisper White. Any questions about the basic things that we need to use? While I slurp my tea. Right, I'm just going to chop a bit of this off so I can just show you. Okay. Right. Now, watercolour pencils. Normally with a pencil, I would always recommend that you keep them sharp. But if your pencil is really sharp, you can colour in with it, but it will, how can I say, it will put really concentrated colour down in one spot, and that can be tricky to blend. If it is like a softer edge, you can actually lay down more colour on a wider area, and it's easier to blend. So let me just show you what I mean by that. So I managed to come upstairs without kitchen roll. Bear with me, let me get some tissue. It's always a good idea to have some tissue or a piece of kitchen roll, something like that, because what you can dab it, and if you have too much water, it just stops it flooding. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to squeeze this, and you've got little, it says push. Just going to squeeze this so I've definitely got some water on the end of the brush. And then if you go over this, you can see how easy that is to blend. Whereas, just clean that off. Whereas this, it will blend, but because you've gone down with like a harder point, it is more difficult to blend. So I hope that that makes more sense. Let me just pull that up a little bit so you can see. Yeah, it has blended, but it's just not as good as that. So by just laying down the colour, that's one way of doing it. Your other way of doing this is using your water painter on the end of the watercolour pencil, so you've got plenty of colour there, and then you can put that colour down as well. Okay, you just need to keep making sure that you've got plenty of water, and you can put your colour down that way. Okay, now what you can do is you can blend colours. So if I put, what colour is this? That's Flirty Flamingo and Cherry Cobbler. Ooh. Pencil's broken. Hang on. It's important that you have a pencil sharpener. Right. So you can. So I've got Flirty Flamingo there and Cherry Cobbler, and I can blend those two colours together and get a different colour, which is really lovely. So you can blend and mix them together as well. Hello Janice, hello Christina, hello Martha. Nice to see you all. Okay. Now, one of the things that you can do, again, picking up the colour with your brush, is you can do splats. So I'm using the pencil and splatting, and that'll give you a really delicate splat. But you can get a much more, I'm going to say impressive splat. Well, more depth of splat if you use your finger, and then hopefully you can see that as well. So you can actually pick up more colour that way. Okay, so that was all on the shimmery white. Let me just put a bit of colour down here on this one. And to clean your brush, just squeeze some water through and just brush it on your cloth. Proper artists, like real watercolour artists, quite often use a fabric cloth, and then they just wash it. So obviously you can do that as well. And the tips will stain, so don't worry about that. But so here on the watercolour paper, you can see how easily that blends, and actually I can squeeze and put more water on it and it will really flow. Okay, so you know, if you want to put a lot of water on something, then the watercolour paper is really good for that. Let me clean that off. Pick up some from the end here. Ooh. And then go on there. Now, because this paper is so absorbent of the water, if you're doing this technique where you're picking up ink from the pencil, just make sure you've got plenty of water on your water brush, and or just squeeze it a little bit more just to keep it flowing. Your other option when you're using watercolour paper is to get your big brush and put down a layer of water onto the paper first. Now again, this is a technique used by artists to sort of wet the paper, and then when you're picking up this, because the paper's already wet, it will then flow again really easily. Like so. Okay. Now, one of the things that people say to me when they're thinking about doing watercolouring is that they don't actually like it because it's too messy. It goes over the edges, and it's not easy to control. And I'm going to show you that in a moment, how that can work to your advantage. But if you want to do things precisely with watercolour, so for instance, if you want to be able to do the flowers here and the lady's dress, you've just got to make sure that each element is dry before you go back over it. So you don't want to be working on the dress when you've just finished these flowers. So that is really important, to leave it to dry if you want things that are more precise. For me, the reason I love watercolour is because I can go over the lines, and I call it a suggestion of colour, a suggestion of like the background. So I'm expecting it not to be precise. I'm expecting it to be kind of quite fluid. So yeah, so it depends what you like and how you like things to go. So obviously here you've got really soft watercolour effects. So I'm going to start out with some pieces that I cut out earlier, she says. Okay, so that's watercolour. Right, as always, I'm rummaging around in my box to see what I have. Okay, so I have cut out from both watercolour paper and shimmery white, just to show you some of these shapes. Now these are the stitched nested label dies. So that's these, and they are sort of elongated hexagons, and I wanted to show you, this is the paper they've been cut out from, but I want to show you that when you die cut it, it die cuts the outside of the shape, so you've got a stitched line around the outside, and you've also got a stitched line there. So you can use these as frames, which is really cool, and obviously you've got the shape on the inside. So first up, I am going to do a watercolour wash on this piece of shimmery white. And I'm just putting down a little bit of water, and I'm looking for my balmy blue, and I am just going to put, let's get some more colour. I'm going to go in with the pencil, and I'm just going to go over and fill this kind of with watercolour wash. So you can probably see now those edges where I've put the pencil on are not softening up. So I just need to get a bit more pencil there and just blend that in a bit better. A bit more water. Okay, now that's obviously got to dry. I can't do anything with that at the moment. But I'm going to do a similar thing here on this one as well. So this is the watercolour paper. I haven't cleaned my brush very well, but that's okay because I'm going in with blue again. So let's just get a bit more colour in there and just move that around a bit. And again, all I'm doing is just kind of going here, there and everywhere with the colours. I'm not trying to make it a beautiful finish. I'm not trying to go to the edges or anything like that. It's just a suggestion of colour, as I said. Okay, hi Marilyn. Right, okay. So Roz is saying that she was recommended never to do this, which is what I'm showing you to do. To take that, take the ink off the brush like that, but to scribble it on, I'm guessing on a piece of acetate or something like that. So I'm guessing like there, and then lift up the colour like that. And absolutely, you can do that. I've always done it this way. And my pencils are fine, but I can understand why you might not want to do that. It's up to you. It's up to you. I just, what I tend to find is I like to pick it up, particularly for detail work, and you'll see that. And again, Jackie's saying the same. So there you go. So we've got lots of recommendations here to lay down your colour somewhere else and use it as a palette to pick it up. Okay? So there we go. Right, so I'm going to come back to those in a little while. I am just going to do a little bit of stamping now. So, where is... So Jackie's saying that she has, sorry Jackie, can I just clarify that? You've been taught to touch the pencils with the brush or not? It's always interesting to me because we all do things a different way, and many teachers will have different ways of teaching us how to do things. Right, so I've got my lovely lady there, and I'm going to get my really fine tip, and I'm just going to go in here and just put in a bit of green. Which green is this? Garden green. And I'm just going to use this fine tip and just drag that colour out a little bit. If you get a little bit too much colour or too much water, you can just use your bit of tissue and just lift it off. And that will just soften the effect. So I've got quite a lot of green on there at the moment, so let's just lift a little bit more off. So I'm just going over it again, lift it off, and there you go. So I've got my suggestion of colour there, and now I need gorgeous grape. Right, let me just, I should have checked all my pencils were sharp, shouldn't I, before I started. But I'm going to try this now. So this is for the lavender, and all I'm doing now is just dabbing, and I'm not even trying to get into those little spaces where the lavender flowers are. I'm just dabbing here and there, just to give you sort of a colour wash, as it were. Okay, so remember I said earlier, if you don't want these things to blend, you don't want to do anything to do with her dress at the moment, but what I am going to do is just do her hair. So I'm going to put a little bit of crushed curry and a bit of Cajun craze there in her hair, just to give her a few sort of summery highlights. And then a tiny bit of Calypso coral there, just as a sort of suggestion of skin tone. Okay, so I'm just going to leave her to one side so she's going to dry. Come back to these. These are still a little bit wet, but that is okay. Let me see, will my lip girls fit on there? Yes, they will. Right, so Jackie's just confirmed she's been taught that you can do it either way. So like make a palette or use your use a scrap piece of paper, or indeed what you can do is take the brush to the pencil. Okay, don't talk and stamp. That's not very good, is it? Okay, so basically what's happened is I was chatting too long. So this is pigmented, this is solvent-based ink, and it dries. And because I've got lights on and everything here, it's drying really, really quickly. So let's just see if I can ink that up better this time round and see if it will stamp better. Let's have a look. Yeah. Okay. So this is still a little bit wet, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to get the Night of Navy ink, Night of Navy pencil, and just put a little bit over the little girls' dresses. And all I'm trying to do is kind of get them to pop a little bit. So I'm just going over with this brush. Actually, I'm going to use the bigger brush. I like using the bigger brush because it just gives, you can go over it much more easily. Oh, the pencil is not blending. It does blend, honestly. I've just not got enough colour on it. There we go. Put a little bit more on. Okay, so all I've done here now is just picked out their dresses. I'm not actually going to put any other colour on that particular one because I just want it to look very much colour wash but very monotone, so tone on tone. This one I can actually come back to now because it's actually dry. Like I said, it is really quite warm here. So, question, what colour dress? Oh, I wonder. Am I going to make her a blue dress? So again, colouring in really gently with my aqua painter, water brush, water painter. And what I'm trying to do is just not actually touch those other colours. So I'm going up to them but not actually touching them. And there you go. So there you've got a really soft effect there. And it's just taken moments. The only thing that's taken the time is waiting for it to go from just to dry off. Val's saying for me to cover my ink pad. Yeah. Yeah. I've got so many re-inkers, Val. I never think about it. I just keep re-inking my ink pads. But she's right. Cover over your stays on. There is this little plastic cover. Make sure you keep it because it seals it in really well. So, okay. So let's finish off this card. I did start. I've got a few things here. So this, don't remember what this embossing folder is called. You will want to know, so let me check. It is called the Ornate Floral. So it's a 3D embossing folder. And look at the detail in that. It's so pretty. So pretty. So that's going to go there. My beautiful lady is going to go there. And can I fit? I have got a thinking of you. I wonder if that will fit there. Huh, yes it will. Hooray. Right. Yes, it will just fit. Hello Doris, thank you for joining us today. Just check that. This is where we go. Is it going to work? Yeah! Hooray! Okay. So let's get the Tombow out. You need plenty of Tombow on these 3D embossing folders because there's so many areas of it that won't actually be in contact with the base card. Dimensionals. And with any shapes like this, make sure you put dimensionals in the middle. As otherwise, you'll end up with a soggy bit in the middle, so it'll sink. Hi Nicola, thanks for joining us. There we go. That's so not straight. Let's try that again. There we go. Okay. So they have one finished card, and that is on watercolour paper, that one. Just scroll that down a bit, just so it'll sit. So let's see what else we have. Oh no! Nicola was without Wi-Fi. That's a disaster. That's a disaster. Okay, so on this one, this is the shimmery white, and I'm actually going to use my two little girls again. And just stamp them down. Okay. So firstly with this, what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to ground them a bit. I talk about this quite a lot with the projects that I do. I don't like people or creatures or flowers or stuff kind of floating in the air. They need to sort of have some floor, as it were. Now, with the stamp, you have actually got some lines here, which is great. So I'm actually just going to extend those lines a little bit. So I'm kind of thinking that, you know, this is probably the beach. So that's a little bit of Cajun craze. A little bit of pumpkin pie. And I'm going to use this brush again. So I've just put a little bit there, and then I'm just going to bring that up. And what I'm actually doing is I'm bringing it up above the line of where they're walking. I'm hoping that you'll be able to see that. So it looks like it's kind of stretching out ahead of them. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of a watercolour wash around them. Again with the balmy blue, wherever that's gone. Night Navy, Pacific. Balmy blue. And I'm just using the edge of the pencil, and I'm only putting a tiny bit on. A little bit between them. I'm hoping that you'll be able to see that. Actually, let me just bring it up a bit closer to you, and hopefully you'll be able to see just a tiny touch of the blue. So now with my paintbrush, I'm just going over the top and just blending that in. It's just, all it's doing is it's just softening the shimmery white card, but also it's kind of looking a bit like sky in there. There we go. And it also makes the little girls stand out a little bit more. So let's go for some pink dresses. What have we got? Razzleberry and Flirty Flamingo. So I'm just going to put a little bit there, and a little bit of that there as well. Now, because I barely touched with the water on these sides. This is almost dry. So, you know, if you want to leave it until it's bone dry, it will actually only take a few minutes. So, unless obviously you're puddling the water. But. So that's the rich raspberry, and this is the flirty flamingo. And again, just a tiny hint of colour. It's really soft. I'm going to go with a bit more colour there on the bucket. Because if I was wearing a pretty pink dress, I'd want a coordinating bucket, it has to be said. That's pretty. And then let's just get some colour into their hair as well. Some darker brown. Similar hair colour. I'm guessing these are sisters. There we go. So, look. Just really, really soft. And what other stamps have we got in here? We have got tiny butterflies, so I'm going to just put a couple of butterflies in there as well. Just to add a little bit of interest. Into that white space. And where is the gorgeous grape? So, just have some purple butterflies. So I'm going to use the really tiny brush there. Just to go in. Okay. Right. So did I bring up right, I'm just going to get my trimmer and just trim this down. Hi Linda, thanks for joining us today. Let's have a look. Ooh. Okay, so that is 4.5 by 2.5. So 2 3/4 by 4 3/4 is what I need, I think. Yeah. There we go. Don't think I cut another one out actually. Right. I need a different base colour. Do you know, I'm going to be very pleased when my studio is finished, because then I'll have all the colours of cardstock that I need in the room, because I actually need to use some pink, some of the flirty flamingo or the rich raspberry, and I don't have any here that I can steal to use on this card. So I'm going to leave that on there like that. But I thought the blue would work, but it's not the right shade. So it needs some more pink. So what I'm going to do is finish off that card with some of the pink. I've used, just so you can see, that's the subtle embossing folder, which is really lovely, and it's early espresso as well. So let me just clear those out of the way so that I can just leave you with those two. Jackie's suggesting that I watercolour a layer. That would look really lovely, Jackie. I want to play around with the colours though first. I'm not sure what colour would be the best colour to use. Ooh, and I've lost you all. Yeah, I'm not sure which colour will be the best colour, so I think it's probably worth me sort of pausing there and going and finishing it. And then with the replay, what I do is I take the pictures and then I will share them back here on Facebook tomorrow, and also on my blog, so you'll be able to see like the finished card. But yeah, we definitely need some pink there, and I'm going to use the sentiment, which I love this one, which is collect beautiful moments. So that's the sentiment that I'm going to use on this, but it definitely needs either the raspberry or the flamingo on there with the espresso. I don't know which one yet. So, do we have any questions about watercolouring or the things that I've been doing today? I will just show you one more thing. So obviously I've been focusing on the watercolour pencils, and the reason that I love these is because you can just lay down the colour exactly where you want it. But you can, let me just move those out of the way a minute. You can use an ink pad to do a watercolour wash. So, you get some ink in your lid and a little bit of water. You can pick up the ink, and I would always do a watercolour wash with this kind of brush. But you can do a watercolour wash like that with the ink. Like I said, I find it easier with the watercolour pencils because when you're actually colouring images in, because you can just get more precisely to where you want to go. This here, this is something that I've watercoloured using the ink. So I've done a watercolour wash that way. So Val's saying I've encouraged her to try watercolouring. She's never tried it before. That's awesome. Jackie's asking me how to clean my Stays On stamps. Well, we used to have Stays On cleaner. I'm guessing that it's gone since you're saying that. Let me have a look. Is it in the catalogue? Is it not in the catalogue? I don't know. Da, 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 da. Yeah, Stays On cleaner. Page 163. So, you do have to be careful with this Stays On cleaner, okay? So, the cling on these stamps, this bit, this image, Stays On cleaner, it doesn't like Stays On cleaner. So, what you need to do is you use the Stays On cleaner on it and then rinse it. So use the Stays On cleaner, clean it all off, and then just stick the whole thing under the tap and just let it dry. It's basically to stop it eating its way into the adhesive. The reality is I clean them eventually. I won't be worrying about it today. You can, if you're quick, when you've used stays on, go straight onto your chamois, and a lot of it will come off. But I only use them when there's a big build-up of stays on there. So yes, Jackie, you can use it on the Stamp and Scrub. So for those of you that don't know what the Stamp and Scrub is, let me show you that whilst I'm here. So that's this, the Stamp and Scrub. It won't get all of the stays on off though. It will get some of it off. It won't get all of it off, and particularly not if it's dried on. But it will get enough off so that it won't transfer. But I tend to use the stays on cleaner. Jackie says she's not used it because she doesn't like marzipan. Yeah, I quite understand why you wouldn't want to use it then. I just adore it. The other thing I did say about using stays on, but the other thing that you can do is heat emboss. So you can use Versamark and then a black or a gold or a silver or a white powder. So you've got an embossed layer, and then you can watercolour within that. So that works as well. Okay, so if there are no more questions, then I am going to love you and leave you for this week. Remember our challenge that we're trying to send some of those amazing cards that we are making and pop them in the post and make somebody's day. I know how excited I get when the postman comes and I've got cards to open. Basically, I open the bills, deal with those, and then sit and enjoy opening the cards. So, and you can always tell when it's a handmade card coming in the post. So that's really lovely. Right, Jackie, no, absolutely not. Do not put the Stays On Cleaner on the Stamp and Scrub. No. So the Stays On Cleaner comes with like a foam top, and you rub it over the stamp, dab it off with a bit of kitchen roll, and then rinse it. Yeah, don't put it on your scrub. Okay, so thank you so much everybody for joining me today. I ask every week, but if you've got any questions or any hints and tips that you want to know things about, or any products that you've got that you want to know how to use them, then do send me an email, send me a message so that I can include them in a future Craft and Chat. You take care of yourselves, and I will see you all next week. Goodbye.